Yes, good morning, Africa. Good morning, South Sudan. Welcome to Morning Breakfast Show, coming to you live right here in our studio from South Sudan capital, Juba. My name is Majur Cholkor, and in our today editions of Morning Breakfast Show, we are going to look at the sports in South Sudan and to find out exactly from South Sudan football associations, the developmental activities, the plan in place, and also looking at the progress of Juba National Stadium. I'm profoundly honored and exceedingly humbled to say it right here in the studio. I'm joined by the Vice President of South Sudan Football Association, that is none other than Charles Udwar Oket. Vice President, you're most welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Major, for hosting me this morning.
It is a pleasure having you, and we have been seeing that South Sudan Football Association is doing a lot of developmental activities. But before going to the developmental activities, the achievement, the plan of South Sudan Football Association, let's find out from you about the success of Under 17.
Well, thank you very much. Like what I said last time, Under 17 national team, that is the brightest star, have done a tremendous work. For the first time in our history, they have qualified for Africa Cup of Nations. And they were very resilient in spite of 4-1 their first match. They were defeated first by Uganda 4-1, but they continue to fight until they reach the semi-final, and finally they knocked out Tanzania, and then they reached the final. So they did a very good performance, and I want to thank Coach Bilal Felix and his crew, and more especially the president of SSFA Board of Directors, who decided that this team must also participate.
Good. Looking at the sport growth in the country, what can you say right now?
Well, the qualification of Under 17 is evidence of the progress of sport in South Sudan, because it is a reflection of what was done. We did a lot of workshops, a lot of trainings to referees, to coaches, including the administration of academies in Juba. And as a result, this is what they are now doing. We want to make sure we progress now from where they stop, so that we continue. Yeah.
Well, South Sudan Football Association has been playing a great role in supporting all the sport activities in the country, especially football activities. What can you say as being part of the key projects, the plans in place for developing the sport in South Sudan?
Well, we have a lot of programs. We have a 4 years strategic plan for federations, and one of them is what is ongoing now. That is a major developmental project. That is the Juba National Stadium. It is purely SSFA funding. Actually, it is the accumulation of what we are supposed to be getting from FIFA. And then there was some years the money was frozen because of differences that happened with the previous administration. Now, when it was released, we said no. The first thing now is to make sure we renovate Juba National Stadium. So that is one of our major projects. But we have so many projects. We want to make sure, at least if we get funding next year, we'll also move to other local football associations, at least to have artificial turf in each federation, local football association, because we see it is not fair. People coming from states, they were playing there on this hard ground, When they come to Juba, we will already have one in Bolok playground. It is not balanced. So when the people of Juba have been playing on that pitch, it is not balanced. So one thing we are planning to do is to make sure we also gradually do the same to other local football associations across the 10 states of the Republic of South Sudan.
Well, we
are also planning to have more trainings of. We are developing now the curriculum, the syllabus for training coaches. The system before was the CAF, that is sitting in Egypt. You request for a training and then they send you. But when we came, nothing was done. So we started involving our technical director and coaching education director to come up with syllabus, because we normally have start with D license, C license, A license, and then FRO, B license, then FRO. Currently, we are working on the syllabus. We almost finished with the C license syllabus. Once we finish, then we will do more training, upgrading those coaches who have D license to C license, and then we will move to B. When we finish syllabus of B, we will also train coaches from those who have C license to go to B license, because it is now an international standard. If a coach has no A or B, you cannot sit on the touch line when your team is playing. So we need to move with the world together. And this is what we are embarking on in terms of coaching. With refereeing, of course, we have done a lot of work, full trainings this year, international trainings, and there is a lot of improvement. But what we want to do now is to build football from the ground. We want to expose also our players. Like in November, we will have a big event. We will have an open trials for players. Whether you are affiliated to one of the clubs or you are not, it is an opportunity for all players. We will have some people from Europe who will come, like the former Arsenal player, Emmanuel Ibue, and some people who will come and scout our players. Yeah. So that they are also, some of them are exposed to Europe, to Asia, if they get clubs. That experience now will also contribute to the success of national team later. So that will be a very big event in November, between 15th to 20th of November next year.
Thank you so much, Vice President, and to our viewers, thank you so much for following Morning Breakfast Show. In our today editions of Morning Breakfast Show, we're talking about the projects, activities, the planned activities of South Sudan Football Association, and helping us to understand more on this is the Vice President of South Sudan Football Association, Charles Udwar Ukech. And he is one of the people in South Sudan Football Association who knows a lot about the sport development in the country. Charles, I've been asking myself and the citizen, especially the sport lovers, when is Juba National Stadium going to be reopened? Because people are waiting, are eager to see that the national team and other neighboring countries come and play the games within Juba.
Thank you very much for this question. For us, if it is in our hands, we will open it even today. Because having played away games that are supposed to be played here in Juba, first of all, we are denying our fans from seeing their national team playing at home. So sometimes we take to Tanzania, we take to Uganda, we take the last one we took to Rwanda, to Sudan, and this costs us a lot of money. Just to pay for a stadium alone is $20,000. Just a stadium alone. So when we came, the contractor said it will be open by the end of September. It went on beginning of December, and it keeps on moving forward because we have challenges. We have a stadium has a standard. It has to be a standard stadium, whether it is small or big, but there are some basic requirements. If you don't meet those basic requirements, you will not play. Even if you finish the stadium, it will not be approved for you to play international matches. So we had a visit from CAF by somebody called Mohammed Sidat, and he came up with 21 points, action points that need to be completed. What we are doing now, most of those work on the stadium is the amendment, is what they said it has to be done. Including the studio, we are still on the planning process because it costs a lot of money. And if we don't have that capacity
what
this
do you
year,
mean including the studio?
we should have a production unit that we are planning for it, because in the stadium, when you want to broadcast the match, you just go with your cameras, put them there, and you broadcast. So we are working on that to make it standard. So I think we have also consulted Ejet Agustino, who is with you. He came up with a project proposal, although the constructing company has done some studies, but we said, no, let us have someone who has more experience. So we will be discussing those details with him. It was supposed to be yesterday. That is one thing that is still delaying us. From the amendment also, we need to find media access, media camera positioning in the stadium, about 8 positioning that need to be linked together. So these are some few details we are still doing. The stadium, the septic tank is not yet finished. The fence they are now working on. The technical benches not yet. The dressing rooms are also not yet completed. So, and all this need money.
Yes, all these things need money. Where do you need support here, and from who? Is the government, the top leaderships, having hands in the construction of Juba National Stadium?
Actually, I think we need to do a lot of advocacy. We need to advocacy both to our ministers, to His Excellency the President, the Vice Presidents, because the football system is totally different. There are responsibilities. For example, infrastructure and national teams, these are the responsibility of each government all over the world. And then the responsibility of the federation is the administration of football, trainings, capacity building, organizing competitions. This is our main activities. Like, like in Juba, there are clubs. You have Atlabara, you have Melekia, you have, mention them. But when it comes to national teams, then this is a national team for the government. It is there in the system, it is a national team for the government. So the support that we need, we are appealing to the government that if they can come in, so that together we finish the remaining work of the stadium, we will really appreciate that. Because what we did, as I said before, the money we invested there, it is entirely the federation money. It is the South Sudan Football Association money. Annually we get 1 million from FIFA, operation cost. As I said before, for 2016, this money was not released for at least 2 or 3 years because of some conflict, things to do with accountability. But when it was cleared by our former president and his administration, now FIFA said, okay, we'll release this money. So actually it is our money. It is not just a donation from FIFA. But there is an understanding which we fail to understand, that FIFA has money, FIFA does everything. No, things are different.
Okay.
What we get, it is the same Egypt gets, London gets, and America gets. But when it comes to national teams, the same those countries, they pay for their national teams, they pay for the stadiums. Look, for example, recently in Khartoum, the Ministry of Youth and Sport was given $30 million to complete the stadium, the one they are doing.
Do you think that there is hope in South Sudan football? Why I'm asking this is that most of the sport lovers are proud of basketball team, and they see that most of the time the national Bright Star team went out, they're defeated, they come back, and you continue to say it, we will do better, we will do better. When is South Sudan Bright Star going to do better?
I think first of all, people should not compare football and basketball. Basketball players, all of them, if not 99% of them, all of them came from US. All of them played there. All of them were trained there without involvement of anybody here in the Republic of South Sudan. They are professional players. What I want to appreciate them is the patriotism they have. They have decided to come and play for the country, which is very, very good, and today I will continue appreciating the basketball players, and especially my brother Lul, who has decided to help the country. This is very, very important. We have football players as well who grow also outside, in Australia, in Denmark, in Canada, in US. If they were to have the same heart like the basketball players, we will also be moving very, very fast. You can see we have a player, the one who scored the goal to qualify Australia to World Cup is a South Sudanese, Mabil. We have a player who is the captain of national team of Switzerland, is a South Sudanese. We have players in Denmark, South Sudanese. We have players in US, in Canada. And in Australia, we have so many. We have Kual, and they are very, very good players. If I'm appealing to them, if they are listening to this SSBC, that please come home. Join the national team Bright Star so that we progress together. But at the local level, yes, we are progressing. If you can see, under 23, they played with Tanzania. They draw in Tanzania 0-0, and then they draw in Rwanda 3-3. So they were knocked out because of away goals. Now you come to under 17, they also did their part and they are qualified for the first time. Our under 20 will go tomorrow to Khartoum. They will also be playing there, Sekafa zone, and in the opening match will be between Sudan and South Sudan. Very unfortunate. We wish we don't meet, but we will try our...
Why you don't wish?
No, they fear us, by the way. Because when we played them in Morocco this year, it was tough. And if you read the media in Sudan, they were criticizing their federation because our boys did what we want them to do.
So what are we expecting out of the boys?
For this one, I think we will win them.
Okay.
We will win them. These boys, they are prepared. We have prepared them both mentally, psychologically, and they are ready to fight.
Cool. Thank you so much, Vice President. And to our viewers, thank you for following Morning Breakfast Show. We are coming to you live right here in our studio from South Sudan capital, Juba. Let's have a break, and we'll be right back shortly.
morning breakfast show coming to you live from SSBC.
Good morning, South Sudan. Welcome to African Breakfast Show, SSFA, coming to you live from South Sudan capital, Juba.
I am the host, Agreka Jim, will bring to you current affairs within states and around. This is African Morning Breakfast Show.
Welcome back, dear viewer. Thank you so much. You're still following Morning Breakfast Show coming to you live on SSBC. My name is Majur Cholkor, and we're glad this morning to have the Vice President of South Sudan Football Association, Charles Udwar Ukech. He's helping us to understand more about the plan of South Sudan Football Association and the developmental activities that South Sudan Football Association is carrying on and the sport growth in the country. Charles, welcome back.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you, Major.
when we went for break, I was having this idea in mind that South Sudan Football Association is working hard on the infrastructural part of the development of the sport, where we can see Bullock Playing Grounds and Juba National Stadium. And you were saying you wanted to extend the infrastructural development of the sport to other states of the country. Now, looking at only Bullock Playground and National Stadium, how are they supposed to be used?
Well, National Stadium, once it is open, will regulate. Even Bullock, we have already set a committee to regulate how it is going to be used, because it is not us only. The Athletic Federation also, they will be using Bullock because that is their main playground, but we are developing it for our as a technical training center only for national teams. When national team has a training, that is where they train. But we are going to regulate all those infrastructure usage once they are upgraded.
Well, what can you say about the relationship of South Sudan Football Association and other local football associations in the country?
Well, first, I really want to thank all the local football associations. We have very, very excellent relationship with all of them. Since we came in, we are now 1 year and I think 3 months. And we have been resolving some of the issues that arise before we came in. So, but our relationship with them is excellent.
Well, you are based in Juba, South Sudan Football Association, and your mandate is to do a lot of activities, sport activities, countrywide. And being in Juba, there is also local football association in Juba, which is Juba Local Football Association. We heard that there has been issues between South Sudan Football Association and Juba Local Football Association in regard to the usage of this field that I mentioned earlier, Bullock Playground and National Stadium. What can you say?
Actually, there is no problem at all. But there are people who don't understand, who want to create problem. But there is no problem if they understand the procedure that was done before. What happened with the issue of the stadium, others now, they said, oh, National Stadium want to grab our land. That is totally not correct.
Who are others?
The local Juba, some people in Juba Local Football Association. What we know is the stadium belongs to the State Ministry of Youth and Sport. When we had that grant and we want to renovate, at least to have one playground that is to the international standards, we said, okay, we found a place to renovate. FIFA regulation or requirement is the documents of the float has to be in the name of National Federation. So the process was done. The ownership was transferred from the Ministry of Youth and Sports to Local Football Association, that is Juba Local Football Association, for a period of 20 years. Then Juba Local Football Association transferred the same also to South Sudan Football Association for a period of 20 years. Now, honestly, if I invest on your plot, is there another way for you to come and say, no, only this part, but this part is not part of it? The stadium is a national interest. Like they are saying, that part of that pitch of land is the ownership of the all clubs in Juba. What about the stadium? Stadium belongs to who? Whoever wants football to progress will support the stadium rather than supporting the investment they want to do. Are they coming to invest or they are coming to play football? Invest in order to do what? In order to play football. If you are investing, where will you play? It is the same stadium. The stadium does not belong to us. The stadium belongs to the Ministry of Youth and Sport, but it has been transferred to National Federation for 20 years.
So have you solved this conflict of interest?
We met under the leadership of Honorable Taban Emmanuel, the Acting Minister of Youth and Sport, Central Equatorial State, and we are going to meet again on the 26th so that we resolve this issue. It is not only, you know, we have East African Parliamentary Games are going to be played here. And now, if this stadium is not going to be approved, then we are not going to play. We have invested almost $9 million or $8 million for nothing as a museum. And this is hard. This is not good. So I'm sure that on 26, we'll be able to resolve some few misunderstanding that has been created by others.
So don't you think this misunderstanding being created by others, as you said, might be the cause of, or maybe the delay of opening Juba National Stadium?
Is contributing because since last year, the septic tank could have been finished. It was not going because the Juba Local Football Association said, no, this work cannot continue. This is not the position for septic tank. This is our land. And the whole stadium belongs to them. I don't know what is the problem, what is wrong. So it's part of delay. The parking area needs to be completed. And now it is stopped because they also claim that part. So it will delay the opening of Juba National Stadium. Even if they take that land at the end, this national football will not be hosting international games. Because one of the requirements is the parking area. If we don't have parking area, then we forget about this stadium.
If you fail to reach an agreement with Juba Local Football Association, whom do you think can intervene here and solve your problem?
We will go back to the owner. The owner is the one chairing the meeting. The owner of the plot is the Ministry of Youth and Sport, Central Equatorial State. So, and I am hopeful that Honorable Taban is an able person. He will be able to resolve this problem.
Vice President, what can you say about how sport can contribute into the economic growth of the country, given it that if the national stadium is open, the other international matches are played within national stadium? Do you think it can contribute to maybe sport growth, maybe to the economic growth of the country?
Football is one of the major economic activities in the country, in all countries. You see, Brazil now, most of their revenue comes from players. For example, if we are playing with Kenya here, Kenya will come with almost 35, 40 people. They will stay in an hotel. They will pay that money in hotel. Government will take taxes from that hotel. So there is a lot of benefits that is coming. People, women who are selling bananas on the way, they can buy, and that contribute to the economy. So a stadium will be played, people will enter with money, that will also generate money to the federation. So you will also have advertisements in the stadium. Sponsors now may come in to help the federation, and I think it is very important for us also to have the stadium in terms of economic growth in our country.
So since you said it can contribute into the economic growth of the country, then why do the entities that are regulating the sport in the country, SSFA, Juba Local Football Association, have to develop the conflict?
This is what we fail to understand as national federation. Yes, I don't blame the whole people, the board members of Juba Local Football Association, but we know that there are some few people who are instigating them. That no, let us have this land, we invest, they will bring some business people to do something, then we get money, federation will get money, local football will get money. And now, what is the benefit of that money if the stadium is not being played, if people are not going to play in that stadium? What do you want to do with that money? You want to develop sport? If you want to develop sport, then let us, for us we said, okay, after 20 years, if you want to build whatever you want to build, it's fine. We are not going to be there. It will be your decision. But not now, at the time we are the one controlling the stadium.
You said earlier that South Sudan Football Association is investing in training the national team outside the country and paying $20,000 US per just
to hire a stadium,
to hire the stadium. So how long will you continue to hire the stadium outside?
In my estimate, it will be only this year, because we still have senior national team still have about 3 matches or 4, and if we don't play here, then so the first matches which were supposed to be played in September have been moved to March, and that is our senior team. We will play Congo Brazzaville, we will play Gambia, we will play Mali. We need to make this ready by next year. I think it will be ready between January and February. But if, as the government want to come in, especially the national legislature, if they come in with some support to contribute to some challenges that we are facing, I think we will work day and night to make sure even we finish the rest even in 1 month. It can be done.
Charles, do you say that with the money that you hired the stadium, the playing ground outside South Sudan, cannot maybe contribute into developing or opening up another playing ground in the country? And if so, do you say South Sudan Football Association is having resources or not?
You see, as I said before, we are now even relying on some individuals. Some people do support. Let's take, for example, when the national team was going to play in Gambia, it was the Eritrean community in Juba that provided tickets all along from here to Morocco, Morocco to Senegal, and Senegal to Uganda, Uganda to South Sudan. So there are some well-wishers who also come to us and contribute. The senior national team, we call that one Chan. Chan is home-based players. And for that also, we thank our sister, the first daughter of His Excellency the President, Adut. She has also contributed through our company to help senior national team Chan when they were going to Tanzania. We also have MTN and we have Zen. They also contributed in all these activities we are doing. But one-time contribution is not sustainable. You can contribute today, tomorrow you get another challenge. Like in other countries, the government gives directives to, for example, to telecom communications that add one pound, for example, for national teams. And then the president set up a committee who will run that fund. That money is put somewhere. When the national team is going, their recommendation, feeding, everything is done through that money, and a committee is formed. It makes it easy. You don't need to get, even this, in Nigeria, for example, the oil companies are giving to the federation 18 million every month, dollars. And that is also a directive from their government. So it doesn't mean we can get that money from government, but governments can get can give directives to companies who are working within South Sudan.
So do you say South Sudan Football Association is not having resources to build the...
We don't have resources for building.
So you have resources for...
What we invested now in the Football Federation is our operation money that was frozen. But we don't have money for projects. Yes, there are money for projects, which is about 2 million for 4 years. What will that do? And this is what we think we can bring artificial turf. Artificial turf is about 500,000 or 200,000 until the final destination. And to do other work, it may cost you between 300 to 500,000. So that is why within that little one, we said we need to also take this same development in Juba to other states, well, with the mega resources we have.
Thank you so much, Vice President, for making it to Morning Breakfast Show. Before I let you go, due to time factor, in case of anything that we have not touched on developmental plan of South Sudan Football Association and achievements, and your last message to the sport lovers in the country in 2 minute time.
Well, first I want to thank you, the Africa Morning Breakfast, for inviting me. I think it is good to have regular talk shows so that we also inform the public about what is happening with the sport. At the same time, inform also our government. And I want to thank also Honorable Michael McQuay. Last time he wrote to the telecom, and that is why we got some funding from telecom companies. And I hope this will continue so that we sustain our growth, especially with our national teams. We are moving on in developing football with whatever we have. I'm sure once the stadium is open, we will be able also to have a source of income where we will now invest also on more trainings. We have done trainings to all federations. We are left with only 2 federations at the state level, and we are going to do that. And then Honorable General Madwot is not here now. He's also he may be going to UK today from Italy. He will also go to Switzerland. He was in France the day before yesterday, also lobbying other people for camping, for our national teams, if they can also help. Also opportunities for our players to be taken to Europe. This is what he's doing. I also want to thank the FIFA president for acknowledging, because we got a letter from him yesterday, acknowledging and appreciating South Sudan Federation for his nomination. We were the first to nominate him for upcoming FIFA elections, which will be held in Rwanda on 26th of March 2023. So he sent a letter of appreciation, and he also promised to work with us and to support us. And this is what we will also discuss with him. Probably the President will also discuss with him our challenges in terms of sport development. And if he is able also to contribute more money for development, that will be very good for us. So then we will invest in infrastructure. So thank you so much, and I'll be ready to come anytime if you want us to come and talk about the sport.
Thank you so much, Vice President Charles Udwar. And dear viewer, thank you so much for following Morning Breakfast Show, coming to you live right here on SSFA from a studio in South Sudan capital, Juba. My name is Majur Cholkor, and Vice President of South Sudan Football Association has been helping us understanding the role of South Sudan Football Associations in the project activities that they are implementing and the current sport growth in the country, and also how sooner the national stadium is going to be open and what are the challenges hindering the progress of national stadium, as he did mention it very well, that the work is ongoing and sooner or later the national stadium will be open for international matches to be played. But when is still remaining as the question. Thank you so much for following this Morning Breakfast Show edition. And for me and the technical team, we do say it, Vice President, thank you so much for making it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We do appreciate.
Thank you.
Back to you, viewers. Do have a lovely time and enjoy the rest of the program right here on SSBC.
SSBC. This is Morning Breakfast Show coming to you live from SSBC.
Good morning, South Sudan. Welcome to African Breakfast Show, SSBC. live from South Sudan capital, Juba.
I am the host, Agweka Jing, will bring to you current affairs within states and around. This is African Morning Breakfast Show.